All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of my webinar. Um, and this episode, very sad issue. Jamaican businessman boy reports alleged that he has, shot himself in New York. Talking about the Golden Crust CEO. I mean, news came over the weekend, and at first we're hoping that all this was a rumor, or it was just something that's trending on social media, which was not true. But the New York Post is again giving some more information into the matter. Golden Cross CEO killed himself over tax debt and fears of probe. We got information that Lowell Hawthorne, his name, the CEO, shot himself. Person were wondering why. A lot of employees were saying that they saw him in a jovial mood days before, and it sent shockwaves across Jamaica because many persons saw Hawthorne as a real inspiration to black young business people, and was also an inspiration for Jamaicans. You know, a man from poor, humble beginnings went overseas and excelled. You know, it was a motivational story for many, but the New York Post now is giving some more information. Let's see what they are saying. So they are saying the founder of Golden Cross Jamaica beef patty empire killed himself amid fears the feds were investigating him for evading millions of dollars in taxes. The Post has learned, and I'll continue reading. A family member told detectives that Lowell Hawthorne, 57 years old, admitted the huge tax debt to some of his relatives and was acting funny and talking to himself in the hours before his suicide, a law enforcement source said on Sunday. Surveillance video. Wow, there's surveillance video as well. A surveillance video shows the meat pie mogul shooting himself in the head at his office inside the Golden Cross Bakery and warehouse in the Bronx, said the source, who was briefed on the NYPD investigation into the shooting. Before the shooting, the reports are saying the video shows Hawthorne speaking with a pair of workers who left the room, both of whom were crouched down when they later returned to his office, sources said. It was unclear. Let me read that again. It was unclear if they saw Hawthorne kill himself, but one of them could be seen making a cell phone call, which a source said it was to 911. Hawthorne employed dozens of relatives at the business he started in 1989, and the source said he left a note in which he apologized to his family. Hawthorne's younger brother, Milton Hawthorne, 55, met cops who arrived at the Golden Cross plant at 3958 Park Avenue around 5:15 p.m. Saturday in response to a 911 call about an emotionally disturbed person with a gun, sources said. Lowell, a married father of 3 sons and a daughter, was found on the floor of his office with a single bullet wound to his head and handgun lying nearby, sources said. The Jamaican immigrant started Golden Cross with a single fast food eatery on East Gun Hill Road in the Bronx and opened 16 more across the city before launching a franchise operation in 1996. The company now has more than 120 outlets in 9 states and sells its beef patties in more than 20,000 supermarkets, as well as the city school, state penal system, and U.S. military, according to a news release issued last year. In August, Hawthorne was slapped with a proposed class action suit. Allegedly, he cheated as many as 100 plus workers at the Golden Cross plant out of overtime pay. The suit, fairly common in the food service industry, remains pending in Manhattan federal courts Al Aston, who befriended, sorry, let me read that again. Al Aston, who befriended Hawthorne 30 years ago when they were both NYPD accountants and now owns a Golden Cross franchise in Queens, called his suicide more than unexpected. It is out of character. He was always an upbeat guy, Alston said. We have been in a lot of tough jams and situations, but he was always a person who would say, we'll get out of it, and we would get out of it. Alston said he spoke to Hawthorne 2 weeks ago, adding he was so happy about the recent birth of his granddaughter. Wow. All his boys are married now. He was talking about taking on a different role as a father, making his boys into husbands and fathers themselves. Alston said. Mourners gathered at Hawthorne's home in Elsford with son Omar, Golden Cross Director of Franchise and Community Development, saying via email, we are still grieving and we are not conducting any interviews at this time. During a brief news conference at the Golden Cross Bakery, company spokesman and Hawthorne nephew Stephen Clark said widow Lorna Hawthorne was making funeral arrangements and it was unclear if there would be a public memorial service. Right now we are still processing and trying to wrap our minds around this tragic loss, he added. So, yeah, sad news, everybody. Lowell Hawthorne, the CEO of the Golden Cross Empire, allegedly shot himself to death over the weekend, and the New York Post is reporting today that the Golden Cross CEO killed himself over tax debt, fears of probe. Let me hear your views on this one. I'm Kurt Spencer.